Go. So, hi.
Good morning. I'm Felice, and I'm grateful and blessed to be in recovery. We could just go around if you guys don't mind real quick because we're waiting. So you could just say your first name if you want to, and if you don't want to, that's cool too. You have to because you're mine.
Hey, I'm Angeli.
Good morning, Angeli. Thanks for showing up.
I'm Trisha.
Thank you, Trisha.
I'm Johnny.
Thank you, Johnny.
And I'm Heidi. And we are hitting 9 o'clock, so we're going to just jump straight in. So, if you give me a few minutes, I'm going to just quickly go through the welcome and let everybody know what we're doing. So, welcome to our Why Wait For community. We are recording this call today, and today is Sunday. What is the day today, actually? The 19th. Okay. My name is Heidi. I'm a compulsive overeater, and I'm blessed and grateful to be in recovery. So every Sunday we meet up. This is a community meeting. We have people calling in from overseas. We have people live streaming us. We have people on the telephone. So we believe however you can connect, recovery and being in recovery is key. So we just want you with us as part of our community. We have some face-to-face people, which is always great seeing the faces and talking face-to-face because honestly, it's essential to our recovery. So welcome to any newcomers who have hopped on. So we are a community of men and women who share our experience, strength and hope with each other that we may solve our common challenges and help each other to recover from compulsive overeating. We welcome anyone who wishes to change and join us in our recovery. The reason that we are all here is because we are sick and tired of being overweight and want to live a healthy and happy life. There is no cost to participate. Our meetings are free to all. Please keep your discussions to food, addiction, and recovery. And we also don't advocate for any diets or supplements. This is a no judgment zone. Whatever you have done, we have done. There is nothing, we are not sitting here in judgment. We would like to acknowledge you and thank you for showing up at 9 o'clock on a Sunday morning. We know that you had other things that you could be doing, but you really chose to put yourself and your health first, and we applaud you.
Yay.
Dr. and Felice and I are both in recovery. I've been struggling with my weight since I was 7 years old. This is a lie. I'm fat on the inside. I have been a serial dieter from the time I was 7. I'm 51, just so you're not sitting there calculating how much it is. So I would say there's a good chance over my lifetime I've probably gained and lost about 600 pounds when I start looking at the numbers. 80 here, 100 there, 20 here, all the different diets from the Atkins to the cabbage. It was always the same process of me believing that it was a question of willpower. If I was strong enough and I was resilient enough, I would be able to stick to a diet and get the weight off and lose the weight. And the diets for that part of it worked. I lost the weight because scientifically, if you are eating less than if you're eating less and burning more calories, you will scientifically lose weight. The issue with me, where I'm not a normal eater, is the minute that I lost the weight, the challenge became to gain it back. So psychologically, I'm not like other people. For me, this is not a portion. I don't get full. This is not a portion. I can't see how much food is the right amount of food because I eat and eat to the point where I get uncomfortable. I'm in pain. And when I was 17, I discovered purging, which really changed my whole world because I could eat and eat and eat and eat and throw up and carry on eating. So I always had these parties of one. But as my...
Oh my God. Parties of one.
So as I got more into this, I had to realize that what I really have is more disease of the mind, which is what addiction is. Because for a normal eater, they won't treat themselves the way that I treat myself because it's not about the food. After I go through one of my binges, I beat myself up. I am my worst critic. I'm the hardest person on me. I abuse myself more than anyone else has ever abused me. How could you do this? Why did you do this? How you promised you wouldn't. You swore you wouldn't. How could you in the morning start off the day wanting to do something and by the nighttime I had blown my diet, or 2 days later I had blown my diet, and it was this continual cycle of feeling guilty and feeling ashamed and being in pain. So I realized there has to be something else. If what I've been doing for the last 44 years doesn't work, and it doesn't, because I've been doing the same behaviors, relying on the same methods, landing up in the same spot, didn't work for me. There had to be a shift, and that shift had to be 3 parts: mind, body, spirit. There had to be a spiritual change. There had to be something else, and that's where recovery comes in.
I just want to interject for a second. And so for people on the call who aren't sure, or people here, if you're not sure if you're in the right place, when you wake up in the morning, and first of all, you need to promise yourself, today, no matter what, I won't pick up. Whether that's food or alcohol or anything, no matter what, today I'm not going to pick up. Today's the day that I'm going to do it, and I'm not going to pick up. I'm not going to have the Oreos. I'm not going to eat 7,000 calories. I'm not going to drink a bottle of tequila, whatever it is. And you go through the day with that hope, and it's 10 o'clock or 5 o'clock in the afternoon or whatever it is, and you do what it is that you promised that you wouldn't do, and you go to bed guilty, and you wake up ashamed, and you get the efforts, so you do the same thing the next day, you're an addict. So if you've been through that, you're in the right place.
Would you say you get the what?
The efforts.
Buckets.
Yeah, and you know, it's whatever, I already did it, you know, so I might as well do it again today, and then I'll restart on Monday.
Oh, fuck it, I've had one chip, I might as well finish the bag.
Exactly, which is actually what I did.
Yeah, which is what we do.
Isn't that called the what the hell syndrome?
That's called 1 is too many and 1,000 is never enough. So we're going to take a lot of stuff from the rooms, from 12-step programs in here, although we're not a 12-step program, but we're way 12-step based because that's what saved my life.
Right, and we both started within the 12 steps, me, Overeaters and Alcoholics Anonymous, and I find that I rely on the steps, but there's a lot in the program that doesn't work for us, and we've taken different things to make it work. This interaction for us is essential, because when you're in your disease, the one thing the disease loves is for you to isolate, be on your own, and make everything okay, that it's okay to carry on, that things are so bad and so overwhelming that our behaviors are justified. So
it's also when we're ashamed of our behavior, if you're going to eat that bag of chips, it's a whole lot easier to do it while you're by yourself than it is when you're sitting in front of me. Right. That's part of the isolation, beside the fact that when we're ashamed about anything, we prefer to isolate because maybe you can see me.
Right, and also that other side is, as I was getting bigger and bigger and unhealthier and being in more pain, when my back was hurting me, my knees were hurting me, I couldn't fit into clothes. So I had a closet of 3. The 3 reliable outfits, most of them black, okay? It was like my go-to, or it was something that was big enough that didn't matter. It could expand with me, okay, and contract with me. And then I became the seasonal shopper, where it was better to buy cheap stuff because I knew that in a couple of weeks I need to be going bigger. So I stopped doing things. I stopped going out. I started canceling events. I stopped being in photographs. I just started really isolating. But let me get away from me. Okay, so let's carry on with this so that I can introduce these to start taking our program further. So we really are vested in our and your recovery at the end of the day. This is why we do what we do. Recovery is best in community. It takes away the isolation. So we recognize the importance of having these weekly meetings. We are committed to it. And this way, by being in service, we're not only serving ourselves, because by talking about recovery keeps me in recovery and practicing recovery as well. So we're here to support each other and also to keep each other accountable. And accountability in this room is very different. I don't want to know how much you weighed and you ate yesterday. It really is immaterial. It's not about the food here. It's really about...
It's about recovery. It's about what's eating us. That's really what it's about.
So we're here really to celebrate each other's struggles, because recovery is about celebration. We lose what is fun in life, and we become so numb to our feelings once we start eating them, that this is a place of true recovery, because we need to live a healthy and happy life. We need that balance restored of mind, body, and spirit, and that is where we come from. So we do the same approach over here. So although our solutions line unite us in a common problem, we also need to just respect each other's differences. And when we say a no judgment zone, we're not here to judge each other, and we hold that to be true. Whatever your food or your addiction is, you're really welcome here. And if someone would like to introduce themselves or say what's coming up for them.
What's recovery?
Recovery is a change in mindset so that we can change our behavior. So when you diet, that's like a behavior modification, right? Okay, today I'm only going to eat 1,200 calories. And that works for a minute or a day or a year sometimes. But if you don't change the reason why you're stuffing yourself, then you're not changing anything. So eventually we'll fall back to that pattern. For me, it was alcohol, or drugs. For you guys, it's food. And so recovery is changing how we're feeling so that we could change our perspective, so that we could change our behaviors. Behavior modification doesn't work. It works with puppies.
And also,
But, if you pee on the floor, I hit you in the head. But if it was as easy as if you ate a potato chip, I hit you on the head, then you wouldn't be here.
right. And also for me, I've had different addictions. It started with food, went into cigarettes, played around with alcohol, got into marijuana. I mean, I've had different cycles of addiction, and then part of that is the mindset, but it wasn't dealing with what was going on at the moment. And even though I had a really shitty day yesterday, and it was a really trying and difficult day with my son, with my husband, and it was really a tough day, the great thing that came out of it, my recovery is so important to me, I didn't pick up the food. I didn't go and pick up the food. In fact, I turned around and I said, this is what is bothering me. And for so many years, I didn't discuss the feelings. And really, for me, my thing is I've got two things. One is the trigger foods, because when I start eating my trigger foods, they just trigger those sprees and those binges that 3 weeks later, I'm like out of a food coma that I've just stepped out of. And it's taken me so long to get out of. I have to stay away from those because I cannot control them. They control my world. That's an absolute. And the other thing is getting more in touch with what I'm feeling and speaking about it rather than stuffing it.
So before her trigger food comes that trigger emotion. So there's a trigger before her trigger food. And it's understanding why that is, and understanding why, instead of when there's something in front of us, instead of dealing with it, maybe going through a little bit of emotional pain so that we can grow, instead of dealing with it, we stuff ourselves. We stuff that feeling, and we choose to stuff ourselves with food.
But since there are such things as trigger foods,
Yes.
and I know that what we're doing is about recovery, but since the reality is there are trigger foods, isn't there a biochemical, metabolic, and hormonal component to how we
Yes, there is. Just like there's a biochemical, for you guys, maybe you could have a drink. For me, if I take a sip of alcohol, I'm going to drink a gallon of tequila. That's the way that my brain works. Normal people's brains don't work like that, but mine does. Mine does. So is there, something chemically different that makes us different from people who aren't addicts? Absolutely. So we know that. So can we change that? No.
Right.
That part of it we can't change. So the chat about that is, yes, that's the truth, and it's the end of the discussion.
Right, and the other thing with being a food addict is our trigger foods change. So we have a twist in this addiction. So what is not a trigger food today may become a trigger food tomorrow.
For instance,
my trigger foods at the moment are, and I should never do this, is nuts. Okay, for me, I've got a trigger. I need to be chewing something. I miss something chewy and crunchy, and I used to potato chips were it. I've cut out the potato chips. It started with Altoids, which were never trigger food for me.
God.
So the thing is just becoming aware of those behaviors. So the minute that I start knowing that I start craving and I'm thinking about it, because addiction for me is that obsession. And obsession is different than what the actual food is, because without the obsession, you don't really care, because we eat for nutritional value to keep living. And the only reason we need food is to live. The value of our life is not based on the meal that we just ate. Case in point, I'll tell you. My son has got a yeast infection, a yeast allergy. Okay? Different thing, okay? So he's got a yeast allergy. We're talking about him having to give up bread, and it was a calamity in his world. It's his best friend. It's like, oh my God, I've got to give up my best friend. My life will never be
in a
the
lot
same.
of people's world.
Right, and so it's that obsession. But you know what? Millions of people live without bread, and honestly, it's just bread at the end of the day. It tastes good for 3 seconds, and then honestly, it doesn't do much. So what I was finding is I come from the family that will sit down at a meal, be discussing the next meal and planning it, we'll be full and talking about food, and I will spend out of the days, my waking time, the 15 hours, whatever it is that I'm awake in the day, I'll spend at least half of that thinking about food, planning food, getting food, eating food, shopping for food, changing my whole cycle so I can actually accommodate the food. Once I take that obsession out of there, I get so much more done. In fact, not only do I get more done, but my life is different. I'm able to do other things I can enjoy things. I can participate in things. I look at things differently because I've removed an obsession. So recovery for me is removing that obsessive component. It's not the food. It's really at the end of the day not the food. But you're going to have to, sorry. Okay. So you've got to just start listening to the things that your body's calling you to go get and say, that's a problem.
Yes.
It's maybe semantics, but I don't feel like I'm obsessive about food. I use food as a cover-up
For?
pain,
There you go.
stress.
Right. So you know how to deal with stress isn't me drinking a bottle of tequila and you eating a bag of potato chips. How we deal with stress is understanding, listen, everybody's got stress, right? So it's understanding, okay, yeah, I have some stress. How do I change my perspective so that I can change the way that I deal with my stress? Because a lot of other people have stress and they don't drink a gallon of alcohol and they weigh 120 pounds. They deal with their stress differently.
Sorry, I just want to also say something to this point. So food kills me. Food in terms of where I was at 260 pounds was killing me. Okay, I was heading for a heart attack at a certain stage. It was killing my knees. I was heading towards diabetes. I was killing myself with food. So in terms of my health, I was heading on a death trap. I mean, I was just heading on this death cycle. So every time I picked up when I was angry, when I was frustrated, when I was sad, was like picking up a club and smacking myself over the head and going, you have been bad, don't do that anymore. And I would punish myself with food because at the end of the day, all I was doing was I was getting bigger and heavier and unhealthier because I was using that food not only to cover up, but there's a certain element of, at the end of the day, when you look at this, you actually end up punishing yourself with that substance because you're not coming out of it any better. You're actually coming out worse.
Worse, and being so stressed because now you've got this challenge with food. So you're dealing with stress by adding another stressor to your life. And as opposed to dealing with stress, working through it, doing whatever it is that you need to do to get well. I don't care if that's talking to your priest or your rabbi or your shrink or yourself or meditating or whatever it is. But the thing is finding out where the challenge is and then working through that challenge so that we don't need to pick up.
So there's also that element when I love binging. I love going and just having those sessions or those binging sessions or whatever the stuff is. So when I'm in addiction mode and I'm a true addict, I create chaos and anxiety in my world as well. My addiction comes out that I justify it by being stressed. By being stressed and in this level of anxiety justifies me using. So the more anxiety I have in my world, the more okay it is for me to pick up and use and abuse at the end of the day. So I've found that what I look for now is the serenity and not the anxiety. Because the only person who can really poop all over your recovery at the end of the day is yourself. So we alleviate that stress and that anxiety, and yes, stuff happens. And let me tell you something, my world is not ideal. I've got 2 teenagers, I've got a husband, I've got a dog, I've got a job, I've got clients. My life is busy, it's chaotic, but it doesn't mean because it's busy and chaotic and whatever's going out there, I need to punish me because of everything else that is going on around me.
So what's the mechanics of going towards serenity as opposed to anxiety?
It's about learning what it is, first of all, that's making you anxious. So why are you looking at the world the way that you're looking at it? Why is your perspective such that you see whatever's happening as such a great big thing, which first of all, you probably have absolutely no control over because we only have control over our perspectives and our actions. So if you want to be pissed off because it's raining, good for you, but it ain't changing it, no matter what. And so when we get back to that simple thinking of, okay, right now I'm mad because it's raining, because most of the stuff that we're mad at is because it's raining. When it's learning to have acceptance, to deal with the world the way that it is, and to know that the only thing that I can change is my own actions and my own perspective. That's it. That's it. So there's a whole lot of changing the way that we look at the world, right?
How do you do that?
We do it by step work.
By step work. So being in recovery, by showing up to meetings, by staying connected, it's a process. It's not going to change overnight. We never got into this position overnight. It's taken us years to get to this point. Some of us get recovery a lot quicker. Some of us have our ups and downs because it's not 100% foolproof. Relapses are real and it happens. Every addict relapses at some stage.
That's not true.
Oh, sorry, most.
It's not true. Although everybody will emotionally relapse. Whether they'll pick up their drug or not, that's a different thing. So picking up the drug or the food is the relapse that we see.
Right.
But the emotional relapse, yeah, you're right. Everybody does go backward emotionally. It's learning to not pick up while you're going back emotionally.
So that is what
Working
we're
through
setting up here, is to be able to work through the process. And one of the things that keeps us sick is the stuff that keeps us inside, that we keep inside, because it is our secrets that really make us ill at the end of the day.
Of course. So anything that I'm afraid to talk with you about, because I'm afraid of the way that you're going to judge me, is that shame that I hold on to is definitely one of the things that will cause me to use if I don't get rid of that shame. And how I get rid of shame is by having a program.
So I want to just invite anyone on the phone. Hi guys on the phone. I know you're feeling isolated out there, but you are not muted, so you're able to talk at any stage. Does anyone who called in want to say anything or contribute anything or share with us? Say hi.
Good morning, ladies. It's Cynthia.
Hi, sweetheart. How are you?
I just met with the dog, but I wanted to share something that, again, what you were referring to is how we perceive things, how we, when we're in fear of being judged, is when we go like further attacking ourselves even more. And oh, you goodness, I lost my train of thought because I was looking at the dog. I'm sorry, but again, if you're fearing it, if you're his question, if you're fearing what you're doing and you know that it's wrong, if your subconscious letting you know that you are doing something wrong, but don't base your life by what and how others are going to judge you.
Right, and so we always talk about me, not about you. So what you're saying is, for you, it would be best for you not to base your life on how other people judge you. Exactly, right, because this program's about you. Selfish program, it's got to be about you first so that you could be of service to others. So I agree with you 1,000%. That's absolutely right. So basically your opinion of me is none of my business, right? I show up the way that I show up. How you feel about me is about you. Yeah.
And learning to accept and love yourself.
Yeah, it takes a lot of hard work. Exactly, it's a lot of hard work. We're all going to agree about that.
So let me ask you.
We are worse judges.
So let me ask you.
So remember, you're going to talk about yourself. So you're going to say, I am my worst judge. We're going to own the way that we feel here. I'm not going to talk about how Haiti feels. I'm going to talk about how I feel. And so I would like for you to respect yourself enough to talk about how you feel. Okay?
So I would love to just go around and ask everyone, why did you come?
Why are you here?
For a few reasons, I guess. Sorry, I'm thinking.
It's okay. Don't be sorry.
No thinking.
No, think. Go ahead.
Well, okay. I have been struggling, my whole life with food, but now I realize that it's a problem, and I realize that I need to get better with the way I cope instead of using food. And I don't know, I guess that's why I'm here, because I realize the impact it has on my life, and I think that things could be, I don't want to say easier, but I don't know, for lack of a better word, easier and more productive.
And by easy, do you mean happy? That you can be happier?
Yes. I hesitated because I know it's not all this, but yes.
Right, but in the end, so remember, losing the weight doesn't make us happy.
Right.
But working on our challenges so that we don't stuff ourselves, that makes
That's
us
what
happy.
I mean.
Yeah, no, exactly. I was hearing you. So,
Okay.
yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. Thanks. And you? Why are you here?
I think I'm here because I'm like deathly afraid of what's going to happen to me if I'm not here.
Good.
That's just it.
Okay, good. And so how are you feeling right now?
Scared.
Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah. We're all scared. You know, when we're in the beginning, when we're making a decision to change our lives, you know, sometimes no matter how horrible or awful we think our life is, it's easier to sit in that poop than it is to actually do the work to make the change so that we can get well. You know, we get so used to our habits and our ideas, and we get angry and we stay in that, as opposed to saying, okay, first of all, once I admit that I got a problem, it's up to me to change it, right? It's up to me to get the help, then I need to change it. And so for you, when you say that you're scared, that's first step, honesty. So 1,000% honest when you say I could be happier. And right now I'm scared. I'm scared because I've said it out loud, and I know that I need to make that change. And hopefully it'll be soon that you'll be a little bit less afraid and that you'll want to make that change, which you do, which is why you're here. So good for you. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Do you feel like sharing?
Yeah, I mean, I'm here because I've been on a successful program for, I think this is the 52nd or 3rd day. And I'm having a great success, and just so, you know, I'm 62 and a half, so I've been where everybody's been at every point where everybody's been here. And it just, and I work at home and don't leave my house much, and so it's a reason to go somewhere on a Sunday morning and to contribute to this goings on and to what I'm doing, and to go just a day at a time, just go forward with what I'm doing.
Question, have you successfully lost weight before?
Oh yeah.
Okay, what's different this time? Because you just said you're successfully. So when you say success, you don't mean you're changing, you mean right now you're successful at changing your behavior.
No question about it.
Okay.
I mean, it's blowing my mind that I actually weigh food, and I have.
Okay, and that's what you're doing. So that's what you're doing physically now to help yourself. So for me, it's putting the drink down. So right now, I haven't had a drink for 62 days, let's say, if I were you. So we're gonna. Sometimes it's easier to see it if we talk about tequila than it is if we're talking about weighing our food.
Right.
And so so I haven't had a drink in 62 days, but I still have the same crap inside of me that made me pick up 63 days ago. And so what'll happen eventually, the reason why I asked, have you lost weight? You said, absolutely. What's different this time? What's going to stop you from picking up that bottle of tequila? What's going to stop you tomorrow or next week or the week after or next year when nothing else has changed?
So the question I'm hearing is why now? Like, why now? What compels you to get into action now?
Not so much more, but what's changed in you beside the fact that you're wearing blue shoes today? No, I'm sorry. We're talking about changing behavior. And I'm not goofing. I'm an addict.
I know.
So
I think even though it may seem not that long, the accumulation of day after day after day after day, there is if not, it may be imperceptible on a daily basis, but after almost 2 months, there is a change. I do feel different. I haven't had.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, of course. So when I don't have a drink for 2 months, I feel amazing. Yeah. I feel so glad that I'm not drinking.
Right.
I feel so glad that I'm not walking around with the shame of using.
Right.
But all of the other stuff in my life, nothing's changed. And so we all know that if nothing changes, nothing changes. And so that's why I said, so today you chose to wear blue shoes. My hope for you is that you're an overeater and not an addict. If you're an overeater, then you can stop eating, realize what you're doing is hurting you physically, stop eating, not stop eating, but stop, doing whatever it is you were doing, and get thin and live happily ever after, because the bliss of being thin is going along with the bliss of the rest of your life, keeps you well. For addicts, I'm going to tell you, don't work like that. So if you're an overeater...
I'm an addict. I'm just maybe so accustomed to spending this whole life being an addict, it just doesn't jump out at me anymore.
That's okay. And that's okay. My whole thing, though, is that with addiction, if we don't change, we don't change. And so eventually we will pick up. Eventually, and you, how long ago was it? 2 months ago? When you were doing well and we spoke and you said, I had a really bad day, I ate
Day
all of these.
37, I had a blowout.
Okay, so was that 23 days ago? 30 days ago?
Today is like day 52 or 3.
Okay.
I didn't look at my diary today, so I didn't...
Okay, yeah, no, that's cool. That's cool. Well, my hope for you, if that's what you choose to do, is that alone works for you. For me, it didn't work. So I was really happy not drinking.
What do you mean that alone works for you?
In other words, just dieting works for you. And at the end, when a stressor comes up or whatever happens, or it's Tuesday, you don't decide to use again. For addicts, it doesn't work like that. For addicts, if we don't change the way that we view the world and the way that we take care of how we view the world, by stuffing our emotions, or like I said, or it's Tuesday or whatever. If that part doesn't change for you and you can stay abstinent, God bless you. That's awesome.
So
for me, I couldn't.
I'll put it in another perspective.
Thank you.
Right.
So when I eat clean, and I've been on, let's say, my cabbage soup diet, so I've been one of the clean eating cleanses, and after 2 weeks I'm feeling fantastic and my body is great and I've lost the 15 pounds. I'm at that stage. That's what I was praying. I want to lose 10 in a week. But I was doing the HCG or any of those diets. So after that period, I've been eating so clean. All it took was me picking up one of my trigger foods. Okay, and what that looks like, a trigger food to me is I have got an imbalance or something wrong with me that the minute I pick this up, I can't control myself. I go into what is almost like a spree that I will then eat that and then eat this and then eat this, and I'm surrounded by wrappers and I can't believe how much food I've consumed in such a short period of time. But that doesn't last for a day. That can last for, the first time might be a day, then it lasts for a week, then it lasts for a month, then it lasts for 2 months, and all of a sudden, a couple of months down the line, I haven't only just gained that weight back, but I've gained weight plus that.
And what it gets down to when we talk about addiction and recovery is, why would you pick up that first chip anyway? Why would you give up what you have right now for where you were before? Why would you? Again, why would you pick up that bat and smack yourself over it? Because you know what the end of that looks like.
Right, and I always tell myself, because I'm that sick, that if I stay...
You're an addict.
Right, because my brain is that sick, that if I stay away from something for long enough, I can control how I use it. So if I stay away from bread long enough... If I stay away long enough, one bite doesn't make a difference. And I can eat normally like other people that eat that substance, and it's not going to affect me. It doesn't work like that for me. My key to success is pure abstinence. I have to step away from that like it's poison, because I put that in my body. I go into a different realm. I operate differently. I cannot control it.
And your key to success is not that you don't pick up. Your key to success is that you've dealt with whatever you need to deal with differently, so that you chose not to pick up. We always talk about the food, and it's not about the food. It wasn't about the 80 bazillion gallons of alcohol that I drank. It was about not picking up when something was, when I was sad or when I was happy or when I was feeling tall or short or fat or blue or whatever. It's about knowing not the trigger food, which you have to know. I know my trigger food's easy, it's alcohol. So it's not about knowing the trigger in the beginning. In the beginning, it's knowing emotionally what's triggering me. And again, you lose 55 pounds. Why the F, after losing 55 pounds and physically feeling better, does your brain allow you to say, you know what, I'm just going to have a potato chip? It's insanity because you
But I'm
know what
human.
that. Listen, of course you are, but you know that one chip ain't never one chip, right? You know that, so you know what the end result looks like. So you know the end result, that it results in shame and guilt and embarrassment and in isolation and in beating yourself up and having to start all over again from scratch. So you put your hand on the fire, you got burned. 17 days go by and you say, oh, I haven't put my hand in the fire for 17 days, so I'm going to do it again? It's ridiculous, but it's the way the addict's mind works. We have instant forgetters, and so we forget what the end of that looked like because our brains are like, okay, today I'm dealing with something that I don't want to deal with, and my Google, my default, is using something to change my brain chemistry. So it's about dealing with what we're dealing with so that we're not doing whatever we can to change the way that we're feeling, to get that buzz, because I need that buzz to go on through the day as a happy person, which in the end makes me so unhappy, right? We do a behavior that we think is going to make us feel better, and maybe it does for about 32
Well, the
seconds.
effect is awesome.
Right,
Because
you
you
get high.
I'm happy,
Right.
I'm like, totally
Dopamine, crack, man. The sugar, the neurotransmitter for sugar, which is, starch or sweets or whatever, is dopamine. We're crack addicts, man. Same. Except with crack, you get skinny, right?
Right, for me, it's not, I'm the fat and the salt. So I'm not the sugar, I'm the fat and salt.
Fair enough.
So,
Salt, I think, is a new receptor. It's the opiate receptor.
Mine is the salt.
Right, I'm the food person.
The bread.
Food. Give me food.
Nuts.
Yeah.
I'm not a sweet person. I don't eat candy.
I think you're a sweet person.
Get out.
So why
Why are you here?
Because the what?
I said, because you're awesome.
The yo-yo diets. I mean, I've done Weight Watchers. I've done HCG.
What's HCG?
It's the shots.
Oh.
I've done the pills. I've done isogenics, the shakes. I've lost weight on all of that. And then I get to a certain point, I get cocky. And I say, no, I could cheat a little bit here. I can cheat. I play around with the numbers. And you can't.
Who are you cheating?
Me.
Yeah.
I know that.
Yeah. I know that you know that.
I know that completely.
I know, but maybe other people don't.
I know that completely. And I'm on South Beach. That's the diet of
The diet of the week
choice.
club. All right.
And
so you do understand, and I know that you understand that.
I know I can't buy pistachio nuts. I realize now in the last couple of weeks I cannot buy. I can buy almonds. Almonds I can have in my house, and I can have a limited amount of almonds to sedate my hunger for a little bit. But pistachio nuts, I'll count those suckers out, and then for some reason I'm grabbing another fistful, and I'm cleaning out that bag.
And you do
and
want
then I feel ill.
Yeah, and right, and so you're doing something that's making yourself sick. So why?
Because I'm punishing myself.
Right. So why?
Because I'm a failure.
Well, you see yourself as a failure.
That's it.
This morning, I see you as a huge success.
And so
Because
a lot of people see me as a huge success. People are surprised when they hear me, because I have a whole totally new different persona. She sees me on Wednesday morning.
The most successful businesswoman. She's got an amazing magazine.
I understand how we measure our success because I practice medicine, and everybody saw me as a tremendous success, and I was dying. But what people saw, I was amazing. Amazing.
Yeah. I raised 2 kids by myself, put them through college by myself, one through grad school, and I did this without the help of anybody. I'm a success.
Well, financially, you're a success, right? So it's about us learning how to emotionally be successful. It's funny that we measure our success because I drive a nice car. That don't mean nothing. It doesn't matter what kind of car you drive, right? It matters how you feel. It's all going to come back to changing the way that we feel so that we stop punishing ourselves.
And on the other side is for people who are extremely successful, which we are.
We're going to quote the word successful.
Right, successful. We are perfect. We strive for this perfection that the rest of the world sees, and that's how we present ourselves. And everything else, for everybody's perfect. For our kids, for our families, for our businesses, our clients, everything else is perfect. Everyone thinks we are the most amazing people, and we are. But on the inside, no, we are so hard on ourselves, and this is what it is. It's really loving ourselves, treating ourselves the way that we would our best friend. Because if we had to see our best friend treating themselves the way we treat ourselves, we've got, how can we do that? So, can I ask them does anyone on the phone want to tell us why they can?
Lidge?
Call her out. So I have another question that I'd like to ask everyone.
I have to I'm sorry.
That's okay.
To make a difference in my own life, for myself.
Good.
That's a good one.
You know, as I've shared before, I've been very judgmental, and I've tried to carry the weight of the world and everybody else's problems, and I've internalized everything. And I think I'm in the process of awakening.
Good for you.
You know, and I'm realizing that, it's so funny because my 21-year-old, while he was here on spring break, we had a little heart-to-heart, and he said, you know what, you have to learn. Mom, you're 46 and you have to learn. I'm 21, I'm telling you. My problems are mine and I have to deal with them.
That's right.
And it was like, wow, somebody hit me so hard. Because, you know, of course, as a mother, you want to make sure that they never go through anything. And I realized, you know what, there's only so much I can protect them from. There's only so much that I'm in control of. And he has to live his life and have his own experiences.
Right, and that's acceptance. And one of the things that you do have control over, Lidge, is not getting sick. Or doing your best so that you don't get sick. Because you know he has to look at you and say, my mom's going to get sick. And so that's one thing that he's going to worry about. So that is the one thing that, as far as you taking care of yourself so that our kids don't have to take care of sick parents, you know, or worry about their sick parents.
It's been my awakening, I think, you know. However long it's taking me, I'm gonna cross the path. I'm ready. Whether it's rocky, whether it's, you know, thorny, whether it's paved in gold, whatever the case may be, I'm learning that. And thank you, ladies, for also helping me out, and gentlemen, that I'm in control of what I'm doing.
Right.
I need to realize that.
Right. That
I have to take accountability.
Right, that you're in control of your own actions. Not of what the world's doing, but of what you're doing.
No. And I've learned to, like how Heidi was saying, you know, I have to have everything perfect. I need to have this done this way, and this is the only way, because what's the family going to think of me? What's this person going to think of me? You know what? What am I going to think of me? When I'm, you know, unable to move on a bed and I have to have other people having to take care of me. No, I want to have that control as of now.
So you actually raise a really interesting point as well. I mean, if I think of what I'd like to achieve, like how would I see myself at the end of program after being in program, the thought of how would I want things to turn out is after working so hard for most of my life, and really I've been working since I was 14 years old. So working as hard as I've been working, to not be able to enjoy my retirement or those golden years and be able to travel and have fun and go out and do those things because I'm too sick not to be able to do it.
Yeah, take a walk in the park.
Take a walk in the park. Or just when that downtime is there, to not have people having to look after me, but to actually enjoy it. That is quite a profound thought.
Yeah,
someone told me the other day, it's better for you to take a walk, even if it's alone, than to have people walk on over to your tombstone.
That's awesome. That's really good.
Okay,
that was really good. Very good.
And it shocked me at first, and then she said, no, I'm taking whole accountability for what I have to do. And I said, you know what, that's a good analogy. I guess I'm going to have to start taking a walk before I have people walking on over to my tombstone. You're so right.
Thank you so much for sharing that, Lidge.
Thank you.
So I have a question. Okay, the question is this. After all of us think that if we become that ideal weight and for me, dieting was always becoming that ideal, if I weighed this much or I looked this way, this is what my life would look like. I'd be happier. I'd be content. I would be able to shop off the rack. At some stages, I wanted to be blonde and blue-eyed. That would never happen, but I did do the contacts. I did have the blue contacts and I did go blonde. Okay, so for me, there was that element of what things would look like if things were being controlled by me and perfect at the end of the day. What would things look like for you? So, there's a point where we go, things need to change. Something has to change, but I also think, what do you perceive in your own mind in terms of what does that look like to you? What would be different?
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, so I'm confused. Are you asking because you said first if we lost the weight?
Yeah, okay, so let's take away the weight.
Right,
so what I'm saying is, if your life was to the point where you were the ideal scenario, okay, that you weren't worrying about the weight, you took away the obsession, you were healthy, you were happy, what does that happy, healthy life look like to you?
Well, I don't know if I'm overthinking it. I'm still confused because the reason I'm confused is because you said if we took away the weight, and the only reason I'm confused is because I reached a goal weight once for maybe 5 minutes and I gained it back, and I thought that if I got there everything would be perfect. Nothing changed. I was skinny and that's it.
That's good for you. So
okay.
Good for you. And I think that really maybe that was your question because that was a great answer.
You phrased it better.
Right. So yeah.
Okay.
So, and it's cool that you said that I was there for a minute because that's how long we stay there. Whether it's 60 days or 5 years, that relapse, when you look back at your clean time after that relapse, basically it was a minute.
Oh, and I want to add something. I didn't even realize other people were telling me. It's not till I gained it back and I looked back at pictures and I was like, oh, I was there. But because all the other problems and issues were there, that's why I didn't see it.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know for sure I'll never go back to my starting weight because I think I was 6 pounds 7 ounces.
That's what we started at. I was probably less. Was really.
I was 8.5 pounds.
Not running.
But isn't all the problems and isn't that life though?
No. Yes. Does life present problems? Absolutely. How we handle those problems is up to us. What we decide to take on. I see, a tragedy happens in the news. And people call and they talk about it and they call somebody else and they talk about it and they call and I've actually said to somebody before, the little girl who got hurt or who died, if you're calling me because we're collecting money to help her parents with the funeral, cool. Otherwise, I don't need the details. It's none of my business. It doesn't have anything to do with my life. I don't need somebody else's drama. I got my own drama. And it's how I look at things. So yeah, that half empty, half full thing is absolutely true. So I, at the end of the day today, I can say, I had a really shit day. I had to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's Sunday, and go hang out with a bunch of people who, whatever, it's their thing, but I promised Haiti, and I had to show up, and I couldn't get my car washed, and I was rushing in the day because I had to bring my clothes back to Steinmart, and or I could go to bed at night and say, wow, I'm so blessed and grateful because I woke up healthy today. Because I got to touch a couple of people. Because my filthy, dirty car is so amazing and has I'm so blessed to have the best stereo on the planet. It makes me happy every time I hear a song in that filthy, dirty car. I have money to go to Steinmart. So yeah, I have to bring back my clothes delightfully because I have money to go to Steinmart. And, And so those are the little things. And the big things are, you know what? My 17-year-old son is as dead as he was the day that he died. And I could look at my life and my world like I used to, as nothing makes sense. And I'm so sad and I'm so hurt and everybody gets it. Or I had 17 years with that kid. It was an amazing time that I spent with them. I've got 2 boys who are crazy and funny and awesome and caring and loving. And I get to spend, now that I'm healthy, I get to spend quality time with those guys, as opposed to when I drowned myself in a bottle before. So life is still out there, right? It took me a while to get clean after my son died. So before I got clean, he was just as dead as he is now. But my perspective is different. And so it's changing our perspective. That's all it is. Because they say a grateful addict won't use, and that's part of the truth. The actual truth is, an addict who is grateful to be in recovery won't use.
When I'm in active addiction, I'm angry, I'm frustrated, I'm unhappy, I'm in pain, I'm sad. My world is very different. I wouldn't call myself a happy person. The weirdest thing is, since I've been in recovery, strange shifts start happening, and you don't see it straight away, and it takes a while to happen. It took me a long time to feel like dancing and really like singing at crazy times, walking through stores. I start singing, and I haven't done that for years since I was like a kid. There were like certain things that I was so obsessed in my own little world and in my own head that I forgot about really living life, and everything was so serious.
And it took you a whole lot of time before you wanted to sing, before that, to realize what part you play in your own life.
Right, because I'm responsible for certain outcomes. Not only my reactions, but getting reactions from people to get them to react in a certain way that gives me the excuse or the reason to use as well. So I'm also responsible. I have to own that part of my behaviors as well when I'm looking at things, to say, what could I have done differently? And it's not a blame game. It's not a blame game of, now's an opportunity. Haiti, you were a bad, bad girl. Beat yourself up. It's a difference when you see things from a different perspective, because when your recovery becomes so important to you, then things start shifting. If you're looking to be well, because people who are addicts are ill. We are not normal people. There are millions of people who can live on this planet. They can eat this much. They don't think about food. They don't go out and binge and have cravings.
Or can have a shot of tequila. Or can have 12 shots of tequila and have a hangover and not do it again.
I envy those people, and I have a few friends who, when they're stressed out, they don't eat. I said, why can't I do
I'm that way. So when after my kid died, right now I weigh about 132 pounds, and after my son died, I weighed about 98. So it's the same addiction, by the way, because chemically, what we're releasing in the brain by starvation is those chemicals are very close to what we release with whatever our foods are. So don't envy them, because they aren't as much pain as you are.
Right, and the bottom line is, if you're struggling to control your food, you've got an issue. Whether you're eating too much or eating too little. It's the same spectrum. You are an addict, okay? You're either a compulsive undereater or compulsive overeater, or you have got an issue with food if it is a struggle. If it doesn't mean anything to you and you can sit down and leave half the food on your plate because you don't like it, or you're full, or it was a meal but it's not the focus of your day, then it's different. I'm not like that.
They call that alcohol abuse, right? Like when you leave a half of a drink at the bar and you don't drink it, that's alcohol abuse, right? No.
But that's me and alcohol.
Exactly. So some people do that. That was a bad attempt at a joke.
But getting back to something we were talking about, we're addicts. I forget how you put it, but isn't there something to be said? And I don't want to sound like a bumper sticker, but having to do with progress
instead of perfection.
Being better than
Yes, but it depends on what your progress is. Again, if you're going to go through if you're going to, what's your target weight?
I don't even know.
Okay, so do you want to say how much you weigh, or you don't want to? So let's say
67 and a half.
Let's say you get back to 100 and you're svelte, and you get back to 170 pounds. Let's say, if nothing.
Gentile weight.
if nothing changes, I don't believe anything's going to change. You might be one of those people in the entire world that's an addict that doesn't change anything, that they call white knuckling it, that just by the seat of your pants struggles but doesn't pick up. Good for you if that makes you happy.
But I'm always working on changing and getting better.
Right, but it's about understanding what it is that needs to change.
Oh, I agree.
So me saying that I'm going to change is awesome because I've made a decision to change something. Right now you're changing your behaviors with food, and so that's commendable. It's not about, I'm going to tell you that addiction's addiction. They've written a billion books about it. I'm a certified recovery support specialist. I've read a whole bunch of books about it, beside the fact that I'm in programs, so I deal with people that are addicts. I relate to people that I do, and I'm going to tell you that, is it progress, not perfection? None of us need to be perfect, but we need to understand why we're doing what we're doing so that we can stop doing it. If you don't understand why you're doing it, if you can't say, I'm pissed off, and I want to tell you something, when you say that you're envious, or you're jealous of, or you're whatever, that's first step, man. That's part of your first step. That's you being honest. To be able to say, what I consider somebody else's success makes me feel bad about myself. Right? Even though that person's in pain, because we don't choose to see their pain. So that's not what we're talking about. Who gives a shit that they're in pain? They're a size 3. No. But that hurt. It's that. So she is. Okay. So instead of us looking at that person and saying, wow, what can I do to help? How much pain is that person in? I really feel for that person. We choose to be envious. Do we look at somebody in a Bentley and say, shit, I can't believe, and their parents were probably rich, instead of saying, you go girl, in the Bentley, awesome. A lot of us don't do that. So we first of all, unless you've walked in my shoes, don't judge me. That's first of all. That's a God thing, right? With the don't throw stones, right? He among us who hasn't sinned cast the first stone. We're all human beings. We're all spiritual beings living this human condition. And it's about us learning how to get well spiritually, us changing that mindset. Wow, my friend's in trouble. Look at her. She's wilting away to nothing. She's in so much trouble that she can't even nourish herself. How do I help her?
But the thing is, I don't see her as, I want to be her.
Exactly. You want to be her size.
I want to be her size.
But you don't know if you want her pain.
No, I don't want her pain.
Right.
No, she
right.
wants to.
So you don't want to be her.
No, I don't want to be her.
No, you just want to wear jeans.
That's right.
Right.
Because you'd have her pain and yours still.
Exactly.
Just because you get to a size 3 doesn't mean that anything has changed.
Exactly. And so again, it's about changing our perspective. Right? That's a little perspective change. Right? At the way that we look at that.
So, but isn't that like a process that happens over time?
Yeah, and how it
using the tools to...
Right. Are you using the tools?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And so again, my hope for you is that you get spiritually, that you get well and you stay well. Because spiritually, if you get well and stay well, your life is going to be better.
The tools are a great segue because it's 9:58.
Oh, right. We have to talk about the real tools also.
As well. So I just want to quickly say one thing about what you're talking about. For most of us who are addicts, and for those of us that are very intelligent and intellectual, we'll continue to try to swap things so we can feed our addiction and justify things and reason. Recovery is not about that. It's about accepting what is going on and doing what you're told to do. So being told what to do, my key to success that I have to rely on because I can't listen to my brain is I weigh and measure absolutely everything. I'm on a food plan. It doesn't matter what your plan is, as long as it takes away that obsession. I have to send my food plan to my sponsor or to another person so that I know what my daily looks like. And I'm accountable every single day in terms of what I'm eating. I do use myfitnesspal.com so I can log, and it just helps me be present, see what I'm doing, because you know what, 3,000 calories and 1,200 calories look like the same thing to me. But when I'm actually seeing it, I'm able to, it's got to be a process, because I'm the type of person that needs to have action. I also need to journal. So there's a direct correlation between the brain and the hand to be able to deal with emotion and get things, true feelings out. And it doesn't matter what it is, but you start writing things down. It's really important. The other thing as well is gratitude. Gratitude takes us out of ourselves and our own focus and makes us appreciate not only what's in the world, but makes us see the world as a bigger place. And one of the things as addicts is we tend to isolate and our world become very, very, very small.
And all about us.
And all about us. Meetings, essential. I go to 3-4 meetings a week because I have to be in touch with other people. Otherwise, if I'm not practicing and being in recovery, I'm using and abusing. And the biggest thing is abstinence. Abstaining from my trigger foods, and it's a non-negotiable, and it's not today's a good day and Monday's a good day to start a diet and just for the weekends I'll have my binge foods or today's my birthday. No.
We hate that part.
Right, and we always tell us, but you know, they went to such great lengths to make the cake for me and throw me the party and give Felisa tequila today because it's her birthday. Okay, so she can be in recovery for it.
So we can put her back in treatment for 6 months. Yeah.
So
that's how it works for me.
Who would like to read the promises? The promises are taken from the AA big book.
Can you read? Do me a favor. Can you read them loud?
Yes.
And a little bit slowly.
Yes.
This is my favorite. This is my life. These are what, for me, the big book promised me, and this is the way that my life is. So, and this is what I wish for everybody. Thank you.
Okay. The promises. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we are halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the world's serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves. Are these extravagant promises? We think not. They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them.
Thank you.
Thank you. So I just want to say we do have a Facebook page. So for anyone out there, hi, it's Wild Wait for Recovery. That's also the name of the website. Facebook, we have a page and a group. The group is a closed group. It's there to promote discussion. You can ask questions. You can talk. You can just say, I'm having a really shit day or a fantastic day. It is there to be used because if it's out, then it's not in. The other thing is you're not alone. That's the most important thing. There are other people struggling. Invite a friend. Be a friend. This is a free session. We do it every Sunday, 9 o'clock. We will see you back here next week. Thank you for showing up. And
Thank you guys.
We say have a fantastic week.
Thank you.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Peace out.
Thank you, ladies.
Cheers.
Thank
Have a
you,
beautiful
Lindsay. I'll
week.
see you this week.
Everyone else is so quiet.
Yes.
Yeah, actually, I have to call you. I need to talk to you. I'm going to call you.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. Everyone else is so quiet on the phone.
Yeah, that's because the phone is a really good place to hide. I really